Alright guys, so today we're talking about the Crossfire X campaign, the first half. I believe it's called Operation Catalyst, and then there's a second half called Operation Spectre. This is pretty much just a prologue to the final chapter, the more interesting part, and this is what's free through Game Pass, so this is what we're going to be talking about. Now, I wasn't planning on playing this. I've made my multiplayer review that's out, and at the time, the campaign cost $20 for each operation, and based on how the multiplayer had played, I just had no interest. But a couple days after, this first half, the first operation, went to Game Pass, and so I decided, you know what, I'll give it a try, because if it's really, really bad like the multiplayer, it'll be kind of fun to make fun of, right? And so I went into it expecting it to be trash. Right, and so yes, I went in with low expectations, but this actually isn't bad, like, at all. Now let me preface that by saying, by no means is it good. Is it groundbreaking? Is it well written? It's not gonna win any awards. I'm not gonna remember it. I already don't remember it now, and I finished it yesterday. But is this a 2 out of 10 like the multiplayer? I mean, even IGN gave it a 2 out of 10, right? And somehow this is good. So we're going to talk about the Crossfire X campaign, what it does different from the multiplayer, how it functions overall, and why you should play it. So if you've played any Call of Duty campaign, right, you know they're typical over-the-top action set pieces, you know, gunfight to gunfight with a minimalistic story. You know, bad guy does bad thing, he's bad because he is bad, for the most part, and you go after him, you kill him, right? And so that's essentially what this is, right? It's just gunfight to gunfight, action set piece to action set piece, whether you're sniping, you're using an LMG, assault rifle, fighting groups of enemies, and a tank. And you know, there is a story. It's not amazing. It's nothing special. It gets you from gunfight to gunfight, right? What it's supposed to do. The mechanics, you know, nothing special. They have a slowdown time ability, nothing you haven't seen 10 years ago. But compared to the multiplayer, this is like a 10 out of 10. Like I said, by no means is it good, right? It doesn't compare with even, you know, some of the worst Call of Duty campaigns. But it's something that's fun to play, and it's just leaps and bounds better than multiplayer, which blows my mind. And to an extent that makes sense, because you're playing against AI enemies. Even on higher difficulties, you're going to be having more fun because you're going to be doing better. There's at least, you know, a somewhat interesting story to follow. The set pieces are all planned, so the action's going to be more hyped up and all of that. But just mechanically, the movement feels better, the aiming feels better. It's easier to stay on target with things, easier to track things. The recoil is more manageable. It just mechanically, it's an entirely different game, and you don't see that happen often, where just the multiplayer and single player just function entirely independently of each other, and that's the only thing that makes this bearable. So if I had to give this a score, and this is more just for fun, overall, right, independently as its own game, not talking about the multiplayer, this is probably like a 5. This is the definition of average, right? It does the bare minimum needed to justify being a game, but it does absolutely nothing unique, right? I mean, if you asked somebody what a first-person shooter was, this is, you know, pretty much pen and paper what you'd get, right? And so by that means it's nothing special. But like I've been saying, compared to the multiplayer, this is like an 11. I don't know what happened, if it's two different studios, but that doesn't make any sense. If it's just that the multiplayer aspect and having to connect with other players, just there's some kind of disconnect on the server side. I don't know what it is, but whatever happened, like, the multiplayer could have been decent if it played like this. But that's just my opinion. Now, this is through Game Pass, with it being absolutely free $99. I would never pay $20 for this. Right? Even the best Call of Duty campaigns are worth maybe $30, right? Because they're typically around 6 to 10 hours, right? And depending on the difficulty, obviously. And like I said, some of them are really bad, some of them are really good, and I'd put them at about $30. And so here, it's significantly shorter. I think it's about 4 hours, but it's $20, And if you combine both, operations of the campaign, assuming the second one is the same length, playing on the same difficulty, that brings you to 8 hours for $40. That's definitely not worth it. But that's just my opinion, right? I'm not gonna do a full score and bother with all of that, make this a big deal. So it's just baffling to me how different it is. I mean, even if you just watch it side by side, this looks like a console game. This looks like it was made, it was designed, it was ported to be played professionally on a controller. The multiplayer looks like it was entirely designed for PC, and you're inputting a controller into where it expects a mouse. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, this isn't fantastic. It does what it's there to do. Don't pay for it, please. Go play a Call of Duty campaign. But that's my review on the first half of the campaign. Unless the second half goes on Game Pass, I'm not paying for it. There's absolutely no way. But you guys let me know what you think of the campaign if you played it. If you like the multiplayer somehow, then obviously I guess you'll like this. If you like this and you played the second half, and the second half is significantly better or significantly worse, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.